This research project, titled From Kyoto and Durban, Mass Media Editorial Position About Climate Change, published in Revista Latina de Comunicación Social, is part of the national R&D project titled Communication and Climate Change, Media Strategies to Communicate Scientific Consensus to the Public Opinion. The main axis of this study intends to analyze the coverage afforded to the climate change by the media, study social perception of this issue in Spanish press, and elaborate proposals aimed to promoting awareness about climate change issues. It's difficult to understand why, despite the important role that the editorial line plays on media content, it has not been sufficiently analyzed. For this reason, this project aimed to study the editorial stance of the most relevant media. Editorial writing remains an important and prestigious genre, and it's without doubt the most stable within journalism. In spite of having low reading rates, the editorial is a text in which the newspaper openly engages in criticism and evaluation in the first person, and not indirectly by means of information content. Therefore, the central role it plays in the media discourse is unarguable, and therefore it is valuable sourcing when studying the role of the authoritative Spanish press within the political debate. This research presented here has focuses on analyzing the editorial stance with regards to climate change in three authoritative Spanish newspapers, El País, El Mundo, and La Vanguardia. The period under study is the time between the Kyoto Summit in December 1997 and the Durban Summit in 2011. The analysis of these 14 years provides a view of the different editorial stances and their evolution regarding climate change. The analysis has taken into account the presence of political, economic, social, and cultural factors. The initial hypothesis of this study is that both possible solutions to the problem and explicit recognition of its severity have been silenced by the editorial strategies of these media. When the topic is discussed, no details are given about the causes of climate change or the policies that countries emitting greenhouse gases must adopt without delay. It's not in vain that through the 40 years covered up by the study, the editorial line of this newspaper takes up more space than interpretation or evaluation supported by the predominant scientific discourse.
The research focused on the diachronic analysis of the editorial published by El Mundo, El País, and La Vanguardia between the adoption of the Kyoto Protocol in 1997 and the climate summit held in Durban in December 2011. These two dates have been considered to be key as the media of the whole world focus of them. This 4 years long longitudinal study provides a stable basis for result and adequate condition for a full analysis of the evolution of the editorial line followed by the authoritative Spanish press with regard to climate change and its consequence. It was found that during this period, El País published 71 editorials referring to climate change as the main or secondary topic. El Mundo published 54 and La Vanguardia published 95. These 220 editorials were analyzed using quantitative methodology based on content and qualitative techniques such as the study of the frames present in the editorial discourse. The most important conclusions drawn from this analysis are as follows. First, political interest and the ideological alignment of the media are more important than the need to raise public awareness regarding the severity of climate change. Second, in general, editorials are dominated by ideological argumentation. The three media choose political or economical arguments rather than scientific or even social or humanitarian arguments. Third, on the other hand, criticism against government decisions resulting from climate summit is expressed to a greater or lesser degree in all three newspapers, but always fall short of developing an efficient information policy which can raise awareness among its readership about the seriousness of the climate change issue. Even La Vanguardia, which has shown the clearest and the most didactic stance, fails in this sense. Fourth, the editorial lines of the three newspapers under analysis remain fixed in their respective position, never resorting to expect information sources, particularly those belonging to the scientific and environmental fields. Finally, the five conclusions demonstrate that there is not a consensus regarding the various extents of climate change amongst these newspapers, whereas El País and La Vanguardia consider it to be a proved fact beyond discussion. El Mundo does not follow a coherent line and traverses from incredulity and the first year of the analysis period to burgeoning concern towards the end.